Okay, let's dig into this. We spend, well, so much time focusing on individual words when we're learning a language, right?
Uh-huh. Making vocabulary lists, trying to memorize them.
Exactly. But what if that's not the best way to sound natural, to really communicate?
Right.
What if the key isn't just the words, but the, combinations, actual
Yeah.
sentences people use?
That's pretty much the idea we're exploring today. We've got a whole stack of material you sent us on exactly this. Big lists of common English sentences, guides to everyday phrases.
Situational dialogues for shopping, health, all sorts.
Yeah, and even discussions about why learning sentences might be a better approach overall.
Okay. So our mission then for this deep dive is to unpack these everyday English sentences from the sources, find the really useful ones, the surprising ones maybe,
Mm-hmm.
and figure out what they actually tell us about how people really talk. It's like getting beyond the dictionary, you know?
It's about finding the practical language tools you actually need day to day, like a shortcut to sounding a bit more natural.
Yeah, exactly. So where do we start? The absolute basics.
You have to. Laying the foundation, it's crucial.
Okay, so looking at sources like the 1,000 English sentences list, it kicks off with the real non-negotiables. Hello. How are you? What's your name? Nice to meet you.
Right. These aren't just words. They're like the opening lines of the script for meeting someone.
And straight after that, you get the social stuff, politeness.
Exactly. Sorry. Thank you. Excuse me. But what's interesting, looking at the 7 ESL and spoken English sources, is how much variety there is even here.
How so?
Well, it's not just one way to say I'm sorry, is it? You've got please forgive me, it was my mistake.
Uh-huh.
And then even more formal ones like I take full responsibility or I deeply regret what happened.
Huh. That is interesting. So the fact there's so many common ways to apologize, maybe that tells us something.
Yeah.
But the importance of nuance.
I think so. It really highlights choosing the right level of sincerity or formality for the situation. It's context, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's the same for saying thanks, I suppose. Thank you for your help. Thank you for having us. Adds a bit more warmth than just thanks.
It makes it specific. And then you get to the really practical things, just asking for stuff you need.
Right. Can you help me, please? Can I have a glass of water?
Yeah.
Where is the restroom? Basic? Maybe. But having that sentence ready makes all the difference.
Absolutely. And if you look across several sources, 1,000 sentences, English Speak 7 ESL, one phrase just keeps popping up near the top.
Let me guess. I don't understand.
Exactly. How common that sentence is. It tells you it's probably the most vital phrase for any learner.
Totally. Yeah. Because communication breaks down sometimes, right? You need a way to fix it.
And right alongside it, you find its partners. Could you repeat that, please? Or can you explain that again?
Yeah, they're not just admitting confusion. They're actively trying to get back on track. Tools to keep the conversation alive.
Precisely. It turns a potential dead end into a request for clarification.
Okay, so hello, thank you. Sorry, I don't understand. Got the basics covered. Now you actually need to do things. Get around, buy stuff.
Yeah, moving into navigating the world. This part is packed with really useful, practical sentences.
So things like travel questions.
Definitely. The 1,000 sentences list has those core ones. Where can I find a taxi? How do I get to the train station? What's the best way to get there? Very task-focused.
And then if you're the one giving directions, the 7 ESL source has a great set.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Things like go straight ahead, take the first right, it's around the corner, it's next to the bank, go over the bridge, take the second exit at the roundabout.
Right, those little prepositional phrases are key. Around the corner, next to.
And public transport stuff, too. Take the bus, transfer at Oxford Circus, take the blue line, last stop on this line, or even just 2 stops away.
What's useful there is seeing how those simple verbs go, take, transfer, combine with specific locations or directions. Learning the whole phrase helps internalize those patterns for talking about space.
Yeah, good point. And the spoken English source adds more specific travel situations, like flying or hotels.
Ah, okay. Like booking things.
Exactly. What flights are there to Paris?
Yeah.
Or, I'd like to book a flight. And those little but crucial details. Would you like an aisle or a window seat?
Always window for me.
Huh, me too. And for hotels? I'd like to book a double room, or I have a reservation under the name of Smith. I'm checking in. Simple stuff, but you need the whole sentence structure.
They're functional units, aren't they? They get a job done. And it's the same for shopping, which that source covers a lot.
Beyond just how much does it cost?
Yeah, beyond that, or can I have the check? Spoken English gets into the real nitty-gritty. Do you accept credit cards? I'm looking for a jumper. Asking about size, color, material.
Oh, and the fitting room moment. Are the trousers okay? They're too big. We've all been there.
Absolutely. It even includes phrases for things like bargaining, maybe not so common everywhere, but useful to know, like, that's pretty steep, or can you knock a few dollars off?
And returns. I'd like to return this shirt for a refund. That's essential sometimes.
Definitely. And chasing a bargain. Is the shirt in the sale? It's 30% off. You know, seeing all these shopping sentences laid out shows that buying things isn't just about price tags. It's negotiation, questions, problem solving.
Right. It's a whole interaction.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. From shopping to something, well, maybe less fun, but just as vital, health. Talking about how you feel.
Yes, the 1,000 sentences source has a really practical section on this. It starts quite general. I'm not feeling well.
Okay.
But then it gets much more specific. I have a headache. I have a fever. I need to see a doctor.
And the list of actual symptoms is pretty detailed, isn't it?
It is. Sore throat, stomach ache, dizziness, cough, runny nose, rash, difficulty breathing, toothache, sprained ankle, back pain, chest pain, even things like ear infection, sinus infection, fatigue, feeling nauseous. The YouTube source also mentioned I have an earache.
Wow, that's comprehensive.
What that tells you, I think, is how important it is to be specific when you're talking about health in English. Just saying, I'm sick, often isn't enough.
Right, you need the right vocabulary, but within that sentence structure to explain what's actually wrong. That specificity seems key for getting help.
Exactly. And the spoken English source adds ways to describe the type of pain: sharp, mild, persistent, intermittent, which adds another layer.
More nuance.
And it includes the sentences for actually interacting with the system. I'd like to make an appointment with the GP or Dr. Evans, and even asking if there's an earlier cancellation. It's like a mini language system just for health needs.
Okay, so we've covered getting around, buying things, dealing with health. What about the more internal stuff? Feelings, opinions, adding that extra layer.
Yes. This is where sources like 7ESL with their other ways to say lists really come into their own. You have the basics from the 1,000 sentences like, I love you, or I don't like this, I don't want it. Very direct. But 7ESL just explodes that. I love you can become, I adore you, you mean everything to me, you complete me.
Okay, quite intense alternatives.
And I like it isn't just I like it, it's great, it's fantastic, awesome, amazing, or maybe I'm a fan of it, or it's my cup of tea. Plus, pages of positive adjectives. Splendid, marvelous, superb.
Wow. So the takeaway there is English gives you a huge range of options to show how much you like something or what kind of liking it is.
Precisely. You're not stuck with just one word. You can pick the phrase that really matches the intensity or the specific quality you're responding to. It allows for so much expression.
And compliments, too. I saw something about, you look beautiful.
Yeah, beyond that, you get, you look stunning, gorgeous, radiant, or more sort of poetic ones. You are a vision of loveliness. Even idiomatic phrases like, you look like $1 million.
That's great. It shows everyday language can be really creative, not just functional.
Definitely. And it works for negative things, too, like saying no. It's not just a blunt refusal.
How do you mean?
Well, you see, no thank you, which is polite, or no, I can't. Giving a reason implicitly, no, I'm not interested, is clear but still polite. Then you have the stronger no way, or the very practical, that doesn't work for me.
So the list itself shows you need different ways to say no, depending on who you're talking to and why. Politeness is built into the phrase.
Exactly. Now, here's where things get maybe a little more technical, but really interesting. Modal verbs. The YouTube source highlighted these.
Like can, should, might, those words.
Exactly. They're small words, but they completely change the meaning or the certainty of a sentence. They add these crucial layers of nuance.
Okay, give me an example.
Take may and might. The examples show possibility, uncertainty. She may have been the last person you may want to reconsider. He might have already seen the movie. There might be a delay.
Right, so they soften things, make them less definite.
Exactly. They turn facts into possibilities or gentle suggestions. Then you have must, which is much stronger.
Obligation, or like, you're pretty sure about something.
Both. We must arrive on time. That's obligation. She must be very tired. That's a strong assumption. Very different feeling from may.
Yeah, much more forceful. What about should?
That's more for recommendations, suggestions, advice. You should get some rest. Should we ask for directions? You should always tell the truth. It's not a command, more like guidance.
Got it. And could. That one seems flexible.
It really is. Ability. He could run faster. Possibility we could finish by Friday. But also, crucially, polite requests or suggestions. Could you help me?
Could you help me is super common and polite, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shows how modals tie into social language.
Definitely. And finally, would. Often for preferences. I would love to visit Paris. He would rather stay home. Or polite requests. Would you mind if I open the window? Or even past habits. They would play tennis every weekend.
Okay, seeing those common sentences grouped by the modal verb really highlights how powerful these little words are. They let you fine-tune the meaning, certainty, politeness, desire, with just one word.
It's a massive shortcut to sounding more precise and, well, more natural. And even the simple descriptive sentences from that source, this flower is beautiful, the cat is very cute, the knife is not sharp, they just show those basic adjective noun-verb structures that you need constantly to just describe the world.
Okay, so we've covered a lot: asking, getting around, health, feelings, nuance. What about when things go a bit wrong, or just managing the flow of conversation? Social stuff.
Yeah, the spoken English source is really good for these slightly trickier interactions, like checking if someone's actually following what you're saying.
Oh, how?
Phrases like, are you with me? Or, am I making sense? They're essential, aren't they? Shows communication is a two-way street.
Right. Puts a bit of responsibility on the speaker, too. And making suggestions.
Beyond just let's go, you get more collaborative phrasing like, how about going there by train? Or, why don't we go to the beach? Invites agreement.
And agreeing or disagreeing.
Again, fundamental stuff. Simple agreement, like, that's true, or absolutely. And polite disagreement, like, I can't see that. It's about framing your opinion within the chat.
Okay, and problems. Things breaking down.
Yes, the practicalities. Spoken English has specific sentences for common tech or household issues. The washing machine isn't working, the printer is broken. And even more specific ones. The kettle doesn't seem to be working, the tap is dripping, one of my burners won't light, the bulb is blown.
Having those specific sentences ready saves a lot of flapping about trying to describe the problem, I guess.
Exactly. It moves you from something's wrong to this specific thing is wrong in this specific way, which is what you need to get it fixed.
And for more serious stuff, emergencies.
That source touches on it briefly, reporting things like, there is a robbery in progress, or there's a car accident, we are stuck in the lift. And it points out the info needed. Address, injuries, number of people. These sentences are structured for speed and clarity in a crisis.
Makes sense. What about phones? Always tricky.
Yeah, telephoning has its own set of phrases. Asking to speak to someone, taking or leaving a message. Can I take a message for her? Checking when someone will be free. Do you know when it'll be over?
And the classic connection problems.
Oh, yeah. The line is bad. Can you speak up? My phone is dying. I think we'll get cut off. Modern essentials.
I feel like I use my phone is dying almost daily. These are very specific contemporary problems needing their own phrases.
They really are. And then finally, how do you get off the phone or end a conversation politely?
Good question.
The source gives options like, it was nice to talk to you, but I've got to go now. Or simply, I should get going, plus ways to keep the connection open. I hope we meet again soon. Let's keep in touch.
So they're not just abrupt endings, but ways to manage leaving the conversation socially.
Exactly.
So, okay. We've dived into hundreds of these common sentences from all these sources. What's the big picture takeaway here? What does focusing on sentences really give you?
Well, it really backs up that idea from the Reddit source that learning sentences gives you context. It helps you internalize a more native-like way to express ourselves. You start thinking in chunks of meaning, not just word-for-word translation.
Right. And we saw it with apologies, or all those ways to say you like something from 7ESL.
Yeah.
The sheer variety for one single idea. That's a big insight, isn't it?
It really is. It shows that fluency isn't just being understood. It's about choosing the right level of nuance, formality, or intensity for the moment. It's about having that flexibility.
Yeah. And the really practical stuff, health, shopping, travel sentences, they're like direct tools for action, aren't they? They equip you for those specific real-world situations in a way just knowing vocabulary words can't.
Absolutely. You have the ready-made sentence ready to go when you need it. Less thinking time, more doing.
And for anyone interested in, the nuts and bolts of grammar, seeing sentences in action is great, like how those modal verbs work or conditionals like, if only I could speak English, or comparisons like, she runs faster than I do, which the YouTube source showed.